The Withered Bluebell. Written by TheBuriedTruck. The Bluebell Railway was in the throes of a harsh winter. Many special excursions were planned, and the manager did not want to cancel them. As such, the engines battled through the snow, fitted with ploughs and filled with determination. One evening, Bluebell arrived at East Grinstead. She'd had a tough journey, but arrived on time. The passengers praised her and the crew, and she prepared for the journey home. "Blimey," she remarked. "The snow just wouldn't let up." "I wonder if we can make it back tonight," sighed her driver. Just then, amidst the howling wind, Bluebell thought she heard something. A deep puffing sound. Suddenly, crossing over the points was a tender engine. It had a snowplow in front and was headed back down her line. "Oh, that's lovely. The main line has sent an engine to help us home. Oh, thank you very much," she called. The engine said nothing, but gave a booming whistle in response. Content with the arrangement, the guard blew the whistle, and Bluebell followed the stranger into the night. It was late when she returned to the shed. "Where you been, Young'un?" quizzed Adams. "The weather's much too harsh for you to be—" "Oh, hold your steam," chuckled Bluebell. "I had help. An engine from the main line cleared a path for me. Oh, I must thank them." She looked around the shed, only finding the familiar faces of her friends, who were rather perplexed. "We haven't seen another engine," said Adams. "What does it look like?" "Well, hard to make it out through the snow," replied Bluebell. "I saw 6 driving wheels, outside cylinders, and a tender." Stepney went pale. He tried to hide his discomfort, but Cromford noticed. "Well, what's wrong with you then, eh?" "Oh, nothing," stammered Stepney. "But probably just my imagination. In any case, we should be thankful Bluebell returned safely. I say we get some rest now." Stepney promptly shut his eyes. The others were stunned and followed suit. The matter of the mystery engine was on everyone's mind for several days, but they had no time to discuss it. There were more tourists than ever, eager to ride one of the Christmas specials. Now, most of the engines enjoyed these trains, but every railway tends to have a Scrooge. "I've had it," grumbled Captain Baxter. "Nothing but coaches full of rotten children screaming out for Santa Claus. Don't they know he isn't?" "Shh!" hushed Bluebell. "Don't you dare say such things." Who cares? They'll find out sooner or later," grunted Baxter. "It's hard enough dealing with all this snow. Oh, I want my warm shed." "I'm surprised at you, Captain," remarked Stepney. "Why, you're one of the toughest engines I know. A little snow should be nothing to you. I say you give our passengers a spectacle. Show them a few flakes can't stop you." "Well, when you put it that way," Baxter smirked, "I'd say you're quite right. Come on, all aboard!" He snorted out of the station as the guard's whistle blew. Stepney winked at Bluebell. "Now you've done it," she laughed. "I hope he doesn't come across that engine I saw. Who knows what'll happen if it tries to help him." Again, Stepney went pale. He was thankful when his guard's whistle blew, and he rushed away. It had been a tough day for Captain Baxter. Eager to live up to Stepney's praise, he charged through the drifts and wouldn't let up. Now, night had fallen, and he prepared for his last return journey. "Oh, I don't like the looks of this weather," remarked the driver. "The snow's getting thicker and thicker." "Pooh!" snorted Baxter. "We've gone all day without issue. One more trip is no bother." Reluctantly, the driver agrees. Baxter put up a good fight as he made his way along the line. Unfortunately, the driver's suspicions were correct. The snowfall increased, and the wind howled fiercely. As they approached Horsted Keynes, he made a decision. "We're stopping here until this lets up." "Ah, codswallop," grunted Baxter. "It's just, we're not moving and that's that," interrupted the driver. "You may think you're strong, but you're small. One thick drift and you'll be stuck, and our passengers will be stranded." Baxter didn't argue. He still thought he was strong enough, but being stranded with rotten children didn't sound very enticing. Time ticked on, and the snow didn't let up. The crew was ready to call off the journey, when suddenly a whistle sounded from behind them. To Baxter's surprise, an engine came puffing up beside him. It had a sturdy snowplow and a bright lamp. "Evening," smirked Baxter. "Are you Bluebell's little saviour? The big bad main line let you off your leash to come guide us home, eh?" The engine said nothing. It gave another whistle, moved slowly onto Baxter's line, and set off towards the shed. "Well," Baxter said to the driver, "no chance of getting stuck if that's leading the way." "Oh, I suppose not," said the driver. "Right then, let's hurry before it leaves us behind." When Baxter finally arrived at the last station, the engine was nowhere to be found. "What the devil?" he wondered. The passengers thanked him for getting them home, but their praise fell on deaf ears. Baxter was scanning the yard for the engine. He only found Stepney awake at the sheds. "Tell me you saw it," barked Baxter. "It has to be here." "I didn't see it, Captain," sighed Stepney. "Not tonight, at least." "What do you mean? Do you know that engine?" "Yes, I do," Stepney replied sadly. "I never knew its name, but it was a K-class. Manager wanted to save it and bring it to our line. Unfortunately, he didn't have the funds and had to pass on it. I remember visiting the engine with him. It was devastated upon hearing the news." Stepney sighed heavily. "One night, not long after, I was being called down when I heard an almighty sound. The engine came rushing down our line and screeched to a halt at the sheds. Its crew pleaded with Manager to reconsider. It was the most heartbreaking thing. Even Manager was torn up, but he knew he couldn't take it, and he'd be in worse trouble if the main line found out he was harboring a locomotive that was technically theirs. The crew vowed not to let their engine be scrapped. They vanished into the night, and that was the last we saw of them. When we did have the funds, Manager inquired about it again, but no trace of the engine was found. I can only assume..." Stepney stopped short, a lump forming in his throat. "I've seen it roaming our line every so often. I assume its spirit is in limbo here, trying to prove it's worthy of being saved." Baxter was speechless. He wasn't the most intuitive engine, but he could tell Stepney was struggling. "Can't save 'em all, mate," he consoled. "Manager does his best. We should all be grateful for his efforts. And," he added, "perhaps you're wrong." "How so?" asked Stepney. "Maybe it's appearing to us now, in a time of need. These storms have been horrid, but it shows up time and again to guide us home. Maybe it's trying to ensure those of us who were saved continue to enjoy our second chances." Stepney couldn't help but break a smile. "That's beautiful, Captain. I didn't know you had such a heart in that creaky old boiler." The two friends laughed, and from then on, the engines of the Bluebell Railway relished seeing the spirit of the forgotten engine. They knew it meant no harm, and always whistled cheerfully to say hello, especially Captain Baxter, whose whistle was the loudest of all.